decision is an outrage. It's illegitimate.
And that so many millions of lives will be saved by this decision.
This is extreme and dangerous path the court is now taking us on.
The right to life has been vindicated.
That's a sample of some of the reaction at this hour from all across the country after today the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, effectively eliminating federal abortion protection. So now it's up to the states individually to decide if and how a pregnant person accesses abortion care. We have full team coverage tonight of what this means for you right here in central Indiana. My partner Dustin Grove field anchoring from the Indiana State House with a lot of eyes on what the lawmakers here in the state of Indiana are going to do with abortion restrictions and this issue come July, Dustin.
That's right. There is no question that we are going to see more abortion restrictions here in Indiana. In fact, the Republican majority has said as much. I want to put a statement up on the screen. This is from House Speaker Todd Houston today saying, "We are excited to build on Indiana's already strong pro-life track record." The real question, though, is what would an abortion ban look like? So insiders within the party told me today if there are any exceptions to this abortion ban, there would be very few, and they would be likely if the mother's life is in danger, for cases of incest or rape. Democratic leaders, though, they are angry about any ban at all. Even though they are in the minority, they say they're going to make their voice loud and clear on this.
Their values are un-American and do not reflect 2022 United States, Indiana, or here in Indianapolis. And you better believe folks like me will be on the front line doing everything we can to stop their insane national agenda.
We will, of course, learn more about what any legislation looks like during this special session here at the State House on July 6th. Now, congressional candidates are also weighing in on this. Our Emily Longnecker's covering that part of the story tonight. Emily?
Yeah, Dustin, Democrat Jeanine Lee Lake says the issue of abortion is a very personal issue for her, and she says that is because she had one in college. And now the Crawfordsville native is running for Congress in November against Republican incumbent Victoria Spartz. Lake is talking about the abortion she had after she says she was raped on a date in college at Ball State. Lake says she cried when she heard about today's ruling because she says it means some states, like Indiana, would take away the right to a safe and legal abortion.
I think that there is a shift in thought. I think there is a shift in terms of how people are understanding that this is really a decision between a woman, her doctor, and if she is a person of faith, her God.
And Lake grew up, she says, an evangelical Christian. She says she shared that she had an abortion with her family. She says her parents, her father, who was a pastor, they were supportive of her. And she says she'll be sharing stories like that about her situation on the campaign trail. Of course, she shared much of it today with us. We'll have more from her at 11. Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz issued a tweet today about the ruling, which said in part, "I support the court's decision and encourage my fellow Americans to respect it too, regardless of personal views." We'll have more on this story, of course, tonight at 11. Dustin, send it back to you.
All right, we look forward to seeing that story tonight, Emily. Thank you. There is also a question about how this is going to play out at the local level. With this decision to overturn Roe v. Wade at the federal level, it's been kicked to the states, and it's going to go even more local than that. DAs across the country and prosecutors are weighing in on how they're going to enforce it, or even if they're going to enforce it. In fact, today, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears says he won't.
We don't know what the law is ultimately going to look like and what criminal provisions are attached. I think the message that needs to be sent is this isn't where our resources need to be devoted, certainly the law enforcement resources as well as prosecutor resources.
And in a statement today, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett said, "I stand with women across Marion County as they speak out against this decision and look forward to working with healthcare providers, community groups, and stakeholders as they fight on behalf of Hoosier women." Meanwhile, this is going to continue to be a big debate, not only at the national level, but at the state level and also at the county level. We'll continue to see what other prosecutors are having to say about this as well. Anne Marie?
All right, Dustin reporting live for us tonight. Now, so that's about Indiana, but what about around Indiana, the contiguous states? Well, most of the surrounding states are expected to either pass abortion restrictions or they have laws already on the books that automatically triggered restrictions when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade this morning. All except Illinois. And now that state is bracing for a potential flood of women who are fleeing across the state line to get access to abortion.
And in Illinois, now more than ever, we're preparing for an impending surge of patients we know it's likely to come. Patients who will now be forced to flee their home states for essential, fundamental abortion care.
And experts expect the potential incoming abortion restrictions to heavily impact low-income Americans who can't afford trips to the states where that procedure remains legal. Now, doctors here in Indiana who provide abortions as part of their OBGYN practice are bracing for further restrictions ahead and changes. Rich Nye joins us live after talking to a doctor who is fighting to protect abortion access all across the state of Indiana. What did you learn, Rich?
Anne Marie, Dr. Caitlin Bernard teaches here at the IU School of Medicine in Indianapolis. She's a practicing OBGYN. She performs abortions. She's also a mother who recently returned from maternity leave. We caught up with her first at the State House earlier this month with her baby. She was part of a group of healthcare professionals delivering a letter to the governor asking him to protect abortion access and not to call a special session of the legislature to consider new abortion restrictions. About 300 healthcare providers signed that letter.
We know that maternal mortality increases when abortion is restricted, and we expect that that is what will happen here in Indiana. We already have an incredibly high maternal mortality risk, particularly for Black women who face more than 3 times the risk of white women, and that will only continue to climb. The disparities will continue to climb, and the long-term consequences, things like socioeconomic status, education, inability to care for your children, need for the foster care system, these lists will continue to grow, and the consequences of a forced pregnancy for those people and for their families.
Dr. Bernard fears that Indiana may enact a total abortion ban. She says any further restrictions on abortion in Indiana, Anne Marie, would be a bad thing for women's health care.
Yeah, the debate continues and is accelerating now. Thank you so much, Rich. While our coverage of the Roe versus Wade decision continues, as our newscast continues tonight. But don't forget, you can always find comprehensive coverage and the latest headlines online at WTHR.com.